Welcome back. As we get ready for Starfield Direct this Sunday after the Xbox showcase, we don't know exactly when Starfield Direct will start, but we do know it'll be immediately following the Xbox showcase. There are a lot of things I am looking forward to Bethesda showing off about Starfield this weekend, but really there's about 5 areas I'm really interested in figuring out more about Starfield. And that's what this video is going to focus on. So I'm going to break these sections down in detail in the video, but I want to see more about ship stuff, planetary navigation, companions and crew members, choice and consequences, and finally multiplayer or single player, and kind of have a clarity there. So let's start out by talking about ship stuff. So one of the things I'm most interested to see really from ship stuff is more about building ships and limitations and kind of how you go about doing some of that. So I'm very interested to see some of that and showing off some of the inside of ships. Like, hey, if you pick this module, this is what the inside looks like. Like, are they different type of components? You know, not just outside, but also inside. Also, I do want to see more about flight. Now, we saw some flight last year in the gameplay reveal that they did, but I would like to see more about flight. And, you know, if they could show it off, like, hey, if you build your ship out to be more heavy or weighter, this is kind of like how it performs. Like if it performs slower moving and turning, but you can carry more, like just a bigger ship, rather than having a smaller ship, more nimble, faster turning, that kind of stuff, maybe a little bit more better for combat. So I'd like to see maybe some stuff like that, see if there's some trade-offs there in the like the shipbuilding area and how that carries over to the flight area. And then also some of the navigation. I would like them to kind of demo, you know, navigation. Go from one planet to space and then jump over to another system and then, you know, go and land on another planet or surface area. You know, I would like to see the full circle of how all of that works, and I'm sure we'll probably get that, but I am very intrigued to kind of see like a full navigation go from planet to another planet across different systems and stuff like that. Now, I didn't want to include planetary navigation in ship stuff because it might not be ship stuff, but I am kind of interested to hear more about planetary navigation because we really just haven't seen any bit of that, right? We've heard some dialogue and basically some statements saying you will be able to take your ship into the atmosphere and land anywhere on a planet, and we haven't seen that.
You can land into Atlantis, but you can also land and explore anywhere on the planet. And it's not just this planet, it's all the planets in the system.
So I would like to see if we are able to do that, or if that was maybe like just a incorrect statement, or maybe taken out of context a little bit. So just curious to see if they kind of clear that up. But as far as planetary navigation, are we going to be able to use our ship? Right? If we are, then that would be kind of interesting. Are they going to introduce rovers? You know, is that something that maybe they developed here over the past year? You know, rovers. They just haven't shown that off. We've seen some still footage of it before, you know, rovers out there. I would also be very much interested in just seeing the characters kind of walk around planetary terrain, maybe up and down like rough terrain, just to kind of see how smooth the game transition is, and probably see this demoed maybe more than just once, just because, you know, if it's just demoed once, it's kind of like, okay, did you all just smooth out that one part of the game and it's not really that smooth the other parts of the game? So I'm kind of curious about that. But what about fast travel? You know, if there's no rover, you can't really fly around the atmosphere with your spaceship. You know, is there going to be fast travel beacons around? So I'm just curious how we're going to be able to move around the planet we land on. Or, you know, is there going to be some system to move around a little bit faster? So a topic that we've heard about before is companions and crew members. So this is kind of interesting. I'm kind of wanting to hear more about the differences about companions and crew members. And if you're familiar with previous Bethesda games, you know that you can get companions and they kind of tag along in your journey. But it sounds like companions are going to be a lot more than just, hey, like we're here, we give you a couple missions. It sounds like they're going to be much more a part of your step-by-step journey throughout your adventures in Starfield. So I'm kind of interested in that. And then crew members. So, I really kind of want to hear them kind of distinct the difference between companions and crew members. Is crew members literally just going to be handling some task? That way we don't have to at maybe our base or on our ship and that kind of stuff. So just kind of curious on some of the limitations of companions and some of these crew members, and what we're going to be getting with those features, I guess. Another area I'm really interested in hearing them kind of explain, show off, talk about is choices and consequences. Now, this goes really across a lot of different areas. Is choices that you made, missions, or maybe interactions, or maybe friends you made earlier in the game with different NPCs, does that access to different things, or maybe make you more hostile to other factions later in the game, maybe that you meet later on, or maybe other characters or something like that. So going to be kind of curious to see kind of the dominoes that can fall throughout the game. And then what about dialogue system? Obviously, we do know there's going to be a persuasive dialogue system, but what would be some of like the pros and cons potentially of picking certain dialogues, So definitely interested to see what they got to show off, about some of those. And then my last thing I'm most excited to kind of hear about, or not hear about if we don't hear about it, and most likely it's not in the game, but it's really kind of multiplayer. Now, I don't mean like full-on multiplayer in the game like it is in Fallout 76, but I am curious to see about, what scale is Starfield between like single player to like full on, multiplayer. And, is it going to be some co-op, like you can invite your friends in to play with you? Because that is something I am very intrigued, because last year there was this quick little image here while they were planning down a base beacon. You can see off in the range that there is what looks to be like a silhouette icon at about 1,153 meters away. So I'm curious what that is, if it's not another player. And maybe it's just a demo version. Maybe there was another player there and it's not going to be there in the final part of the game. But the thing I will say is it would be a real bummer to have a game of this size and you can't play with your friends. Okay? Now, whether it's you play in a shared world with other players. Hopefully it's kind of not the way they did it in Fallout 76, because it was just not well done. And that's kind of the problem that you get when you mix single player and multiplayer and blend them in the same world. People want to go do their single player thing and they don't really want to be bothered with, open world PvP. A lot of the games that I've seen have tried that before. It just doesn't work, right? It just doesn't work. You're getting two different players mixing together and it's not good for either party, really. So hopefully they do blend in some kind of co-op, and maybe, if I'm playing in my game, I can just invite my buddy in and we can just go run around in my game world. And then, maybe his game world's a little bit different. He's built a base at a different area or something like that, but maybe the host game world is the one you're in, and the other friend that you invite in is just coming in, visiting into your game world. Some scenarios like that. I think that would be a pretty good way to go about it, and maybe possibly mix in, full on, everybody shares a communal area. Maybe some of the major cities are communal areas. I think that would be kind of neat. But I do think there is a lot of aspects to this game that you do want to show off to your friends. And if you can't kind of play with your friends and show off, hey man, check out this base I built. Hey man, check out this area I found. Hey man, check out this cool ship I made. And if we can't kind of show off to our friends, then it's gonna be kind of a bummer. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna play. I'm really looking forward to the game no matter what, but I'm just saying it would be a little bit of a letdown in my eyes. But hopefully they just integrate it correctly. I didn't like how they did it with Fallout 76, even though I did think single player in Fallout 76 actually wasn't too bad, but I just didn't like how they integrated everybody in the same world. But those are the 5 topic areas I'm really kind of most interested to see Bethesda talk about in Starfield. So let me know down below what you think, and we'll see what we get on Sunday. Alrighty, take care.